Hello, and welcome to CCS 099, this 2020 summer semester. My name is Tracy Dotson, and I will be your instructor this semester. You can call me Tracy or Miss Dotson. That's Miss with an MS, not Mrs. I am not married yet. Um, I wanted to take the time to make this short video to go over a few introductory things for the course before week one starts. I see on my roster that some of you I've had actually before in class from my CCS 099 from the spring and fall semester. So hello to all of you. I hope you're doing well during all of this trying time and your coursework is doing well. For those of you who have never met before, hello. I look forward to getting to know you this semester as much as you can in an online class. So just a brief summary of what this course is about. It's about your comprehension skills and understanding what you're reading in order to help you with your writing. And there's three areas that we are going to be working with. And so the first is we're going to work on annotations. And annotations are going to be a little bit different this summer semester because it's all online. Usually you have paper copies and you turn those into me. But annotations are simply the notes that you take on a text that you read. And a lot of times those are notes that you take on the actual page of the book or the page of the article. And so we'll talk about how to do those effectively so that you can pull out all the important points that the author is making in that text. So from those annotations, from your notes, you're then going to move on to our second thing that we're going to work on this semester, and that's writing summaries. Writing summaries is very important in mostly all of your classes in college and beyond into your careers that you want to go into. It means that you understand what that person is saying, and you can do that and write that into your own words. For us, summaries are going to be about half a page to a page typed, okay? And so it's simply kind of like giving a movie review. What were the important points in that movie that you need to talk about? So once you figure out what that person is saying, then you can talk about whether you agree with them or not. And so that last thing that we're going to work on is critical responses. And those you agree with, you talk about if you agree with them, you disagree with them, and you back that up with experience. So things you've experienced, things you've watched on TV, in the movies, read about, in the news, anything. Okay? So those are the areas, things that we're going to work on. And so this semester, what we're going to do is we're going to be talking about wrongful convictions. They happen more often than you might think. In the past, when I've talked about wrongful convictions in courses, most of the students knew what they were, but maybe not to the severity and maybe not all the reasons why they happen. And one of the reasons why I talk about wrongful convictions is over 5 years ago, I started listening to true crime podcasts and reading a lot of true crime books myself and learning more about wrongful convictions. And it is part of what's going on in our society right now with the peaceful protests, with the Black Lives Matter movements. And so this is just another part of understanding what's going on. One day we are all going to be on a jury for a trial, and if you are not part of the criminal justice system, if you're not a lawyer, how do you make that determination on someone's guilt or innocence? And so by understanding the process a little bit better, hopefully in that situation you'll be able to be a better, more informed juror. And so this semester, what we're going to do is the first couple of weeks, we are going to read short articles about wrongful convictions. We're going to learn about why they happen. And hopefully during week 2, we'll be watching a documentary online, if it's still free by then, I think it should be, that talks about the history of racism, how it's connected to slavery, Jim Crow laws, the war on crime, the war on drugs, and how it's led to the point where we are at right now with so many wrongful convictions. And so then we're going to deep dive into an actual wrongful conviction with our book called Picking Cotton. Hopefully you've gotten this. We won't need it until the third or fourth week of class. Okay. If you look at the bottom here, these are the three authors of this book. And so remember, this is nonfiction. This is real. Okay. There are 3 parts to this book. The first part is written by Jennifer Thompson Canino. She is the victim in this case. She was raped and sexually assaulted by a man. So the first 70 pages are her story of what happened, and then going and helping to identify and convict the man that she believed committed that crime against her. This will be your first trigger warning for this class. We are going to talk about rape. We are going to talk about the Me Too movement, and we are going to talk about why there are over 200,000 rape kits in police custody today that have yet to be tested. And that's pretty horrendous when you think about it. And so, why are those kind of things happening? Her story isn't as graphic as you might think. I've read a lot more graphic writings by survivors. However, if talking about rape, reading about it, writing about it, discussing it, if that's something that triggers a lot of emotion, a lot of depression, anxiety, and stress for you, and you think, you know what, I don't think I can do that, then I commend you for making that choice. But please know in this course, I will not be giving out an alternative assignment to this. So if this is something you choose not to work with, then I would suggest at this time um, withdrawing from this course and registering for another course. Okay. The other name underneath Jennifer's is Ronald Cotton. He was the man who was wrongfully convicted of this crime. And so the second part of the book is his story. And as you might have already guessed, race will be talked about in this course, especially with wrongful convictions. It does play a huge part. So this is your second trigger warning. So if race is something that you cannot read about, cannot talk about, discuss about because it does trigger certain things for you, I commend you for taking that choice and saying, okay, I can't do this. But again, please know I will not be giving in an alternative assignment this semester. So if this is truly something you cannot work with, then I suggest withdrawing from class and registering for a different section. If you look at the book, the last person there listed is an actual writer who helped these two write this book. This is a very unique story about a wrongful conviction. In this case, the victim is alive, and the person who was wrongfully convicted was eventually released. And then what happened after that is they formed a very unique friendship, not romantic, just a friendship, in which they have gone on to help other wrongfully convicted people. And so you don't always see that very often, and so that's why their story is so unique. And so that's what we're going to be reading this semester and talking about. So again, decide about your trigger warning and make your decision on that yourself. If you have any questions about the material or anything to help you make that decision, please let me know. Finally, with Monday, June 15th coming up on our first week of class, what you need to do is go on to Cobra into our class. You'll click up at the top left on the Content tab, and then down on the left there will be a folder called Week 1. You'll click on that, and then you will see directions, due dates, a short video explaining all the assignments and material that you will need to go through for Week 1. I want to pay special attention here. There are 3 folders in Week 1. The first folder is assignment number 1, and this needs to be completed and submitted to the Dropbox on Cobra by noon on Friday, June 19th. For this class, it's a developmental course, and so what that means is if we were in a regular classroom setting, if you missed the first 2 class periods, you would get dropped from class for not attending. Okay, so to show that you're attending in an online class, what you need to do is submit that assignment before noon on Friday. Okay, let's say you forgot to do that, but you submitted one of the other assignments by noon on Friday, I would still accept that because it shows that you're doing something. But I've chosen assignment number 1 just because it's easy. You don't have to go through any material in order to answer it. It's actually questions about you yourself, so I can get to know you. Okay, so when Monday comes around, June 15th, go on to Cobra, under the Content tab, click on Week 1, and start looking at what you have to do. There are 3 folders, 3 assignment folders, and so please understand that under each assignment, you might have multiple things to do. Okay, so make sure that you look through everything you have to do and you plan out your week. That is the best way that you're going to get through this online course, is to make sure that you don't leave everything to the very last minute to do. You, every other day or so, or every day, do a little bit more on this, okay? And I know that being in this pandemic and with the protests going on, there's a lot going on in our world. And some of you may have lost your jobs, you may have had to find new ones. Maybe your living situations have changed, kids are now home. There's a lot going on. And so make sure that you find that time to get your work completed. And always, if you need help, please email me. Okay? I am here, stuck in my house just like you guys. So at any time, feel free to email me, and I will help you out as much as possible. So make sure that you check out Cobra, and you get that assignment done by noon on Friday, June 19th. That's very important. So I look forward to getting to know you guys this semester, getting to read your ideas about what you think about wrongful convictions. As you can see with my headset, I do have some kitty ears. I am a cat person. They even light up, and the ears are speakers too. They're very fun. My fiance got them for me on Amazon, but this is actually the best audio quality that I could get for these videos. So I'll try to make as many videos to explain everything as possible. This is normally a course where we depend on a lot of class discussion. So I will try to make as many videos to help explain things for you instead of in the written form. But please let me know if you have anything that need to be improved with the videos or anything like that, and I will do my best to do that. There should be closed captioning as well for these videos. Well, I look forward to getting to know you. Don't forget, Monday morning, get on Cobra, take a look at what you need to do for week 1, and let's get started. I'll talk to you guys later. Enjoy the nice weather that we're having. Bye.